Hey guys, Tim here at JK Boots, and today we're going to talk about kilties, or tongue guards, or false tongues as some others call them, and kind of what the purpose is and what even they do. Some people call them the things with spiked edges on them, so let's kind of dive in. So a tongue guard or a kiltie, the purpose of it is it sits in a boot, just like this one is right here. So it sits in kind of right there, and it laces in through the eyelets just with whatever laces that you're using. You know, we punch 2 holes right there so that they flow in. And the purpose of that tongue guard or kiltie is so that the friction from the laces does not cut the actual tongue. So the reason that sometimes people call them a false tongue is because the actual tongue of the boot is this portion right here that, you know, is sewn in into this gusset, and that's the actual tongue. And so the reason it's called a false tongue is because it acts as another tongue right there to protect the friction of the laces from cutting the actual tongue. So that's kind of where that term false tongue comes in. I'm not sure about the history of calling it a kiltie, but definitely we hear that a lot kind of in the industry and from customers, so some people call it a kiltie. That's the main purpose and what it was used for. There's different lengths. The average length that we send off is usually about this, 5 or 6 inch length. It usually comes all the way up to about that 6 inch height on the boot. So it kind of covers this most instep ankle area where there's the most kind of friction from the laces. That's kind of the idea of it. Some customers request a 10 inch tall one, or however tall the boot might be. They go for a taller one just because they want that protection of the actual tongue going all the way up, which is completely fine. And sometimes it can actually serve as a good purpose of if maybe the shaft of the boot or the upper is a little close, it's not lacing quite with good spacing, like let's say you have a skinnier calf and the uppers are touching, then the tongue guard can act as a good way to fill in that space. And so if your ankles or calves are a little bit skinnier, the uppers are touching, you can get a full length tongue guard to fill in some of that space so that the gap is wider as it should be. So those are kind of the main purpose being the friction, and then the secondary purpose being filling in some of that shaft. That's really the main purpose of a tongue guard. They come in a couple different variations or looks. You can do a rough out, you can do a smooth. We also, with ours, we install them we cut them with a slit right there in the center so that you can feed laces through. And you can get them, like I said, in this standard kind of 6 inch or so length. You can get them taller, as tall as your boot goes if you'd like. And we do the same thickness or weight of leather that we do our actual upper from. So it serves a good purpose, and so it's actually able to protect the actual tongue from the friction of the laces. They come standard with every pair of boots we sell. We put them in every box except for our 300s, and they're great. They're not a mandatory option. You don't have to wear it. Definitely a lot of people don't. A lot of people do, and so it's really just kind of up to you. I would also say that it might even depend on this, how tough of a job you're doing, or maybe the environment that you're in. If you're going for more of maybe a casual look, or maybe you're half-time office, half-time outdoors, it could be optional, and you actually don't really need it because you're just not doing anything too crazy in the boot. If you're a wildland firefighter or a diesel mechanic, or you're a welder or a fabricator or a pipe driller, definitely you're going to want to wear them. It's also just even another layer of protection between whatever the elements are in your feet. It's another good way to look at it. So it serves a good purpose, and it's definitely there for a reason, and there's definitely a reason that people have been wearing them as long as they have been. With ours, another cool option that we do is we actually feather or skive the edges of them so that they're not so thick on the edge where it doesn't bother you or hurt you kind of in the side ankle bone area, and most of that thickness or weight is right there down the center where it should be. So that's a short little thing on the tongue guards and the kilties and the purpose of them. A lot of people ask. Thanks for watching. Check out our other videos. And if you need a pair, you can just go right on jkboots.com and purchase a separate set. Thanks, guys.